Hi there, my name is Dustin Beebe. I've been here with Titan Machinery for about 15 years now. I'm a combine specialist here, and today we are going to go through a mid-range combine and talk about the fundamentals. We will start with the front of the machine here. We'll start with the feeder house. Visually inspect the front of the feeder house to make sure that everything is good. Your feeder faceplate here, which is your in this case here, this machine has a field tracker on it. Not all of them have that. So we would like to look at our feeder chain, that our slats all look good and straight, nothing's bent, that our links are all looking good, nothing's cracked or broken. Another thing we would like to really touch base on is the feeder floor pan. Make sure that they are not cracked out, and the distance here between your slats and your floor pan, depending on crop condition, that is adjustable over here on the side. We can adjust that with our drum stops. For depending on crop condition here and crop itself, there's three positions. There's a low, medium, and a high. So a low would be for small grain, medium would be for some yields of corn and beans, high is most of the time is for corn. Another thing to make sure you keep check on is the feeder chain tension, which is done on both sides of the machine here. We'll be able to see a little better here the adjustment slot for the feeder chain. So here is the feeder chain adjustment slot. We want to make sure that we have the exact same measurement on both sides. So we measure from the back of the eye bolt here to the back of the feeder chain slot, that this measurement here is the exact same on both sides. In order to do so, you'll have to loosen these jam nuts here and adjust this accordingly to get this within spec of both sides, and then tighten all four jam nuts back down. Visually inspect your feeder jack shaft drive belt, make sure that that is in good working shape, and the tension also on the tensioner here for your feeder jack shaft drive. Should have 1/8 to 1/4 inch play in there for proper adjustment. Another thing to make sure we check is our stripper plates, that they're adjusted up as close as we can get them to the feeder drive sprocket without contacting it, because that will clean off any of the debris that is brought around, or any of the trash that is brought in and starts to wrap around that sprocket. Them stripper plates will clean that off of there. Another thing to start looking at is your rock trap blades. Kind of hard to see back in there, but your rock trap, make sure that that is all in good working shape. Nothing's too damaged. Make sure that all the blades are intact. Another thing to make sure we keep an eye on here is our rock trap drive chain, because this drive chain here is what tells the feeder house to kick on and kick off. There's a sensor here that picks up rock trap speed, and if this chain were to ever break, it would shut the feeder house down and shut your head down. So this is a chain here that takes a lot of stress and a lot of load. So to make sure that this thing is always adjusted up properly, which should be done down here on this tensioner, should be again about an 1/8 inch gap between this bottom washer and this round sleeve to keep this adjusted up properly. And we would also recommend that replacing this chain yearly. It takes a lot of stress and a lot of load. One thing a guy can add on to these feeder houses to make them quieter and make them last longer is a feeder chain roller kit, which would be installed in the back half of the feeder house here. And what that does is puts big round rubber rollers underneath these feeder chains to lift them up so it ain't metal on metal. Saves a lot of wear and tear on the feeder chain, makes it quieter, and helps also bring the croppings. It helps make that chain run smoother. Another kit we can add here, this machine already has it on here, is a feeder chain silencer strip. This one here is rubber. This is something that is sold through parts. We have a rubber and a poly kit, and they also make a steel strap kit to go over this in case your feeder drum has wear on it. We can bring life back into that drum.